Hey up everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today on the channel I'll be doing my tips and predictions for round 27 of the 2024 NRL season. Last round of the regular season before we hit finals. So many big games to speak about, bottom of the table, top of the table, and deciding who gets a home final and all that caper. So lots to talk about. Let's get into the first game, which is happening on Thursday night. And the first match to kick off round 27 is on Thursday. It's between Brisbane and Melbourne. This one's being played at Suburbs Stadium. Now with Brisbane, their season's pretty much over, despite what Kevin Walters likes to say. With Melbourne, they've sold up the minor premiership, unfortunately. So this is a game where I believe that Melbourne will rest a lot of players. Brisbane are without a couple of players like Tony Staggs and Piakura won't be there. With this fixture between these two clubs, ever since Melbourne coming into the competition, they pretty much dominated this fixture, except for the game that really sort of counted between the two sides, which was the 2006 grand final. Other than that, I think Melbourne's only lost once or twice to Brisbane in the last 15 or so year. So, especially with Melbourne as well, Suncorp Stadium's like a home away from home for them. Even with a lot of players rested last week, they demonstrated that they're still capable of being very competitive even without all them players. Brisbane will be playing for pride, last home game of the year for them and last game of the season, so they'll try to go out on a good note, but I'm going to go for Melbourne to win this game by 1 to 12 points. And the first match on the Friday is the game that a lot of people are talking about this week. It's West Tigers against Parramatta in the Spoon Bowl, the 9th edition of the Spoon Bowl. This one's being played at Campbelltown Stadium. West Tigers and Parramatta both bottom of the table on equal points. However, Parramatta's just a bit higher. They've got a better points differential. These two sides met earlier in the year and really Parramatta should have won that game, but West Tigers managed to sneak the victory. Gutherson missed a conversion after the siren to win the game for Parra. Going into this fixture, West Tigers have won 2 matches in a row in the league, and Parramatta had a very bizarre and very high scoring win over St George last week. Now with the actual venue itself, Parramatta don't really play at Campbelltown that much these days. The last time that they played there were back in 2012, where West Tigers put 50 points on them. I believe Marika Corey-Betty got 4 tries that game. And before that, you have to go all the way back to 99, where Parramatta defeated Western Suburbs 68 points to 10. Now, with this game, I think with West Tigers, they're without a couple of players, Jareem Buller, Aidan Caesar, and I think 1 or 2 others. With Parramatta, they've got 7 or 8 first grade regulars out for this fixture. If you're sort of a betting person or you're someone that's looking at margins and all that type of stuff for how the game's going to go, look, Parramatta haven't been an 80-minute team all year, and they demonstrated that last week against St George. With West Tigers, one thing I will say is even though they've lost a ton of matches this year, they're never really out of games. At least, you know, they're trying for the full 80 minutes and they're capable of scoring points. So I'd say probably if you're someone that's a neutral in this game, you'd probably fancy West Tigers to win. However, I don't know, this game could really go either way. It all depends on who shows up. This is Parramatta's 4th Spoon Bowl appearance. They've won 3 and lost the 1. And as for West Tigers, this will be their third, I should say, Spoon Bowl appearance. I should say as well that if Parramatta lose this game, I'm pretty much done with the club. Like I already said earlier in the year, if they come last, I probably won't support them anymore. I mean, I've been supporting this club for over 30 years and I've just had enough, really. If they come last again, I don't think I can handle it anymore. I'll just go full-time St Helens. So yeah, a lot going on this game. I mean, this could be the last time I ever support Parramatta. Last week, a bit surreal, but I'll back Parramatta to win by 1 to 12 points, but I have a sinking feeling that you know, they haven't been an 80-minute team all year and it's going to come back to bite them again. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Parramatta get out to a 10-0 lead, 12-0 lead and end up letting it slip again. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm going to go for Parra to win 1 to 12. The main match on the Friday is the oldest rivalry, the fiercest rivalry in the NRL. in my personal opinion anyway. It's South Sydney against Sydney Roosters. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. South Sydney's season's over already, as we know. With Sydney Roosters, they can still finish top 2 if results go their way. This is a fixture that's been played more than any other in the history of the Australian Rugby League competition, the New South Wales Rugby League / NRL. There's been over 230 matches played. South Sydney's got a slight advantage in that. The last couple of meetings these two sides have had, Eastern Suburbs have had the bragging rights. Going into this game, Sydney Roosters have been dealt pretty much a few hammer blows. I mean, Sam Walker's out for the year. Brandon Smith's probably not going to be playing again this year. They've got a few other injury concerns. With South Sydney, it's been the season from hell. But with these games, I mean, it's a rivalry game, and this is like no other. Form goes out the window. We've seen plenty of times where East have been down and they win, South have been down, they win. With South Sydney though, I think even with all these players that Sydney Roosters have out, I think they'll probably just have a bit too much for South. And I think the fact that Sydney Roosters know that if they can win this game and if Penrith can lose, they finish top 2, they get a home final, then they've got, I think, more motivation than South. Even though South will have tons of motivation to go out and beat Sydney Roosters, I think just that little extra thing of, you know, we're going to get a home final if we win, are going to go in Sydney Roosters' favour. So I'm going to go for Sydney Roosters to win by 1 or 12 points on the Friday. First match on the Super Saturday is between St George and Canberra. This one's being played at Conqueror Oval. With these two sides, they just know that the equation's simple. They just have to win if they want to play finals this year. However, for both teams, things are not looking that good with their for and against. There's other teams like Redcliffe who have a better for and against. So in the back of their minds that they know maybe even a victory might not ensure a finals berth, but both teams are going to be going out there to win. Now with Canberra's record at Conqueror Oval, they've actually got a positive record there. They've won, I believe, 10 games and they've lost 6 of those, so they've played 16 times at Conqueror Oval. And with St George, I mean, last week, I don't know what happened with them. They just didn't show up. Very disappointing if you're a St George fan. The chance was there to secure finals, something that nobody thought at the start of the year, and they couldn't do it. And as for Canberra, well, they've pulled off 2 upsets 2 weeks in a row. Big upset over Penrith, big upset against East at the new SFS. Can they make it 3 in a row and try to sneak into the finals? We'll just have to wait and see. For this game, all year, St George have been doing win-loss, win-loss. Canberra have been a tipping nightmare for myself personally. They pretty much rule me tips every week. With this game, I'm actually going to go for Canberra to win. I'm going to go for Canberra to win by 1 to 12 points. I think they'll just sneak home over St George. The second match on Super Saturday, and potentially one of the games of the round, if not the game of the round, is Canterbury Bankstown against North Queensland. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. Now, whoever wins this game is going to finish with a home final, so lots on the line. However, when I say home final for Canterbury, I mean home final loosely, because I don't really consider Stadium Australia to be really much of a home ground for anyone, to be fair. So going into this game, last week North Queensland had a bit of a scare against a very understrength Melbourne side, and as for Canterbury, they were brought back down to earth against Manly, given a bit of a reality check there. So maybe that's the reality check that they need going to the finals. We'll just have to wait and see. With this game as well, these two sides met earlier in the year and Canterbury just stole that game in the end by a point. And in the last couple of years, the fixtures between these two sides have been quite close. Could this be like 2004 when North Queensland travelled down to Canterbury when there was a big match on the line and North Queensland ambushed them that night? Can they do it again? We'll just have to wait and see. Canterbury's got one of the best defences in the league and one of the best home records in the league. This is going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be really close, but I just have a feeling that Canterbury's going to get the job done and they're going to secure that home final. So I'm going to go for Canterbury Bankstown to win by 1 or 12 points on the Super Saturday. And the main match on the Super Saturday, and should I say third match on the Super Saturday, is Penrith against the Gold Coast. This one's being played at Penrith Stadium. With Penrith, they know that if they can win this game, that they're going to get a home final once again, going in week 1 of the finals. As for Gold Coast, their season's over. They'll just be playing for pride. These two sides head to head. Penrith have a superior record over the Gold Coast. And with Penrith, I mean, ideally, a couple of weeks ago, they probably would have been looking ahead at this fixture and going, this is a game where we can rest players ahead of the finals. But I think with a home final spot on the line, they're not going to risk it. I think they're going to put out a full strength team against Gold Coast. So with this game, I think it's pretty much cut and dry. As I said, with the Gold Coast, they're just playing for pride. Their season's over, and Penrith have something to play for. So I'm going to go for Penrith to win by 13 plus on the Super Saturday. The first match on Sunday is between Manly Warringah and Cronulla Sutherland. This game's being played at Brookvale Oval. Now, both of these sides are playing finals this year. I don't believe, from what I've seen, that Cronulla can fall outside of the top 4. As for Manly, with them against Cronulla at Brookvale Oval, they have a superior record. And as this is the Battle of the Beaches, it's a rivalry game. Head to head since 1967, Manly have dominated this fixture. There's been almost 100 matches played, and Manly's won 68 of those and Cronulla's won 28. So Battle of the Beaches is possibly one of the most one-sided rivalries in rugby league. However, the last 2 times that Cronulla have travelled to Brookvale Oval, they've won. So maybe they're reversing the trend there. With Manly, they had a really good win over Canterbury Bankstown there at Stadium Australia. And Cronulla, I mean, I don't know what happened. They had a disappointing loss against the New Zealand side where they really should have gone on with the job. There was a yellow card in the second half, which I believe helped New Zealand get back into the game. I don't believe it were a yellow card. I think that the decision were a bit shite. I think it was fucking bullshit, but it's just how it is. So with this game, I mean, rivalry game, form goes out the window. But I believe Manly at home in front of a sold out Brookvale Oval, from what I've read, will get the job done over Cronulla. So I'm going to go for Manly to win by 1 or 12 points on Sunday. And the final match to close out the Sunday is between Newcastle and Redcliffe. This one's being played at Marathon Stadium in Newcastle. This is the fixture where I believe one of these two sides has the most realistic chance of making the finals this year. With Redcliffe, they've got the best for and against out of all the teams vying for that 8th place. As for Newcastle, their for and against is better than St George's, and I believe it's better than Canberra's. And last week out, Redcliffe had a very impressive win in the Battle of Brisbane against Brisbane. As for Newcastle, they also had a good win. So going into this game, it's all to play for. But I think if you're from a Redcliffe point of view, if you're from that side of the fence, I think you'll be hoping that you can make finals this year, because you don't want it to be two years in a row where you have such a good start of the year and then you end up falling out and don't play finals. As Wayne Bennett said, I mean, destiny's in their hands. They've created a perfect opportunity to play finals. They know if they win, then it doesn't matter what St George and the rest do, because their for and against is better. But it's going to be a really tricky game, because Newcastle have shown that they can put in some good performances, and they've got a lot of attacking options. Fletcher Sharp scoring for fun, Keelan Ponga's playing well, they got Bradman Best back in the team. So this is going to be a really good game. But I think based off what I saw last week, I can't go past Redcliffe. So I'm going to go for Redcliffe to win by 1 or 12 points. And I believe Redcliffe is going to be playing finals this year. So that concludes me tipping video for round 27 of the 2024 NRL season. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below who you're tipping. So going into this round, I had all my notes typed up on my computer, ready to go, and then I lost my notes. So am I fuming? It's an understatement. I'm fucking fuming, but I'm just doing this video off the top of my head from the notes that I remember that I wrote down. So I hope that you enjoyed this video anyway. thanks to everyone that's been supporting this channel throughout the entire year, throughout all the rounds of the tipping. I know next week some of you will switch off because obviously a team's not going to be playing finals, and that's understandable. But to everyone that's subscribed and watched the videos, liked, commented, thanks very much, it means a lot. The channel's nearly at 6,000 subscribers, which I think is a massive achievement for a channel like this. So thanks to everyone that's supported me, and as I said, just place your comments in the section below who you think's going to win, and I'll catch you all later in the next one. Alright, ta-ra for now.